And I remember starting to take steps into going on the app. And I was like, you know what, Ya Allah, please help me with this. It's really hard when we unmatched.
Yes, we unmatched.
Before actually unmatching, I told you, like, when we reached out to that decision, and I told you I was really feeling sad.
And I think it's so beautiful what you were just saying. It's like, I could just hear it in your voice, this utter dependence of, please, God, please, Ya Allah, help me, I need you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ammar.
And my name is Hannah.
And we are the Love Coaches.
We're on a mission to help as many single Muslims find their potential spouse. Come and listen to our incredible journey of how we met each other.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you really love our content.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Finding My Husband podcast. My name is Hannah Ogishingi and I'm so honored and humbled to be your host for today's episode. Today's episode is just so phenomenal for so many reasons. First of all, it's the last episode of the series, the audio series, and this is the first of the video series. I also have the long-awaited special guest with me. I'll show you who that is in a moment, but first of all, let's start with the dua. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم لا سهلا إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت الحزنة إذا شئت سهلا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. For those that have listened to the 9 previous audio episodes, I walked you through my journey of finding my husband. It started off with me being 29, never been in a relationship and not knowing where to even begin to find my future husband, and me going through the struggles that I faced of being a single Muslim woman. And then I walked you through my journey. So this episode, this podcast series was recorded as I was going through it. And so before I even start, I'd love to play for you a little snippet from my very first episode, which I actually recorded on May 2022. Yes, over 2 years ago, I recorded this specific episode. So go ahead and listen to this part.
Allahu Alam, how many episodes? I can't tell you now at the time of this recording how many episodes I'm going to record, but just know that inshallah, in the last episode, I'm going to have my husband sitting right here and me and you can grill him. And you know what the question we're going to ask him is, where have you been all along?
Yes, that's what I recorded exactly 2 years and a little bit ago. And so without further ado, the most exciting guest ever, I'd love to introduce you, yes, to my husband. And I've got goosebumps actually just saying that. Ammar, welcome Ammar. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Before I say anything, I have to fulfill my promise of the very first episode, and I have to ask you, where have you been my whole life?
Well, I've been all day here in Dubai.
In Dubai, I never imagined you'd be in Dubai, to be honest. Did you ever imagine that you'd marry someone all the way from Australia?
Not in my wildest dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was out of expectations.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being on this episode. I know this is such a significant episode.
Thank you for having me in our home.
This is actually recorded from our lounge room. Alhamdulillah. So it's a very intimate setting where we've invited you into our home to actually have this conversation, because I feel like there is so much that we need to discuss. So
we do.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about you, Ammar. Tell us a little bit about your journey. So I know that you, in the other podcast series, I was talking about my journey from a woman's perspective of being single. So just share with us a little bit about your journey, about being a male that was Muslim, that was single, that was ready to get married. Walk us through your journey a little bit.
The way I would describe my journey, like if I would describe it with words, hard, full of unknowns.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say hopeless, but there were like little hope.
Talk to us a little bit about what you mean by hard. There was a little bit of hope. Tell us a little bit about what you mean by that.
It was hard because, of course, so what happened for me is basically when I felt ready to get married, I reached out to my mom And I told her, let's start this journey, and please, if you could reach out to find a spouse for me. And yeah, she started doing that, and I believe she started finding potential spouses for me. Though it was a bit far from what I've imagined. And part of me was actually lowering his expectation. I had a lot of expectations, and then when I clashed with reality, part of me was like, all right, this is not really real.
Yeah.
So I started lowering the expectations, and until like it became, I believe it became really sad, and I didn't like it.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about how you, first of all, how you felt like you were ready to get married. How did you know? Was it just for a male, is it just a knowing that you're ready to get married, or what?
SubhanAllah, I don't know. What I could say is, yeah, basically you'd feel like you're ready to get married. Like you're ready to take that step. You're ready to face that reality that you want to settle in, and you want to start a family. Yeah, it's a feeling.
It's an internal knowing. Yeah. And then you actually went and spoke to mum about, like you wanting to get married. Was there a struggle in sort of languaging what you wanted, or was it that you already knew what you wanted? So you spoke a little bit about expectations just before. So tell us a little bit about, like, did you go and sit with mum and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for? Was it generalized? What did you actually say, mum, what you were looking for, who you were looking for?
A little bit background about me. Since we've met, you've introduced me to the coaching word, right? And I've developed skills that I didn't have, and my personality changed, and the way I am showing up right now is different, right? So at that time, I don't believe I have had those skills to be able to share what's on my mind easily, right? So I believe the image, or what I was really looking for in a spouse was not really directly and communicated with mom. So she didn't really know
What you
what I
were looking
really
for.
wanted.
So she was trying her best
Yeah.
based on what she thinks that you'd be interested in, right?
Of course, like the number one criteria that was really important is someone religious, but of course that's not like it can't be just the only criteria. So alhamdulillah, like I believe what happened is like I made that dua in my heart. I'm telling Allah, Ya Allah, this is gonna be the hardest decision in my life, and I really need your help in it. And this is what I'm looking for. And actually, if I go back to that time, I don't think I was sure what I was looking for. It could be just thoughts, but there was nothing that is
Concrete.
yeah.
That's a struggle that a lot of people actually go through.
Of course.
We're like, okay, what am I actually looking for? And I think when we come to answer the question first, who do I want to become? It makes it so much easier to now answer than what am I looking for? Because otherwise it's like, it becomes this huge long list, or it just comes random thoughts, and like we're trying to think, oh, what would make me happy, right? Isn't that the whole point of that discussion about what you're looking for? Is like, okay, who would make me happy? And so when we flip the question around, so much changes. So speak to us a little bit about, okay, you approached mum, you told her that you wanted to get married. Tell us a little bit about that experience, and then what happened afterwards, and then you going on the app.
We actually saw potential wives, but nothing like became serious. And I remember it was the last time my mom was trying to show me potential someone, and it was basically the opposite of what I really was looking for or wanted. So, and I remember starting to take steps into going on the app online, and I was like, you know what, Ya Allah, please, please help me with this. It's really hard, and subhanAllah, looking back to it right now, it is really hard for me and for mom also, because she didn't know what I was looking for, right? So she was trying her best. And yeah, without Allah, I don't think this would happen.
100%. And I think it's so beautiful what you were just saying. Is like, I could just hear it in your voice, this utter dependence of, please, God, please, Ya Allah, help me, I need you. Because can we get married without Allah?
SubhanAllah, we always told that marriage is sacred, and it's like Allah writes your partner's name for you, and He's the one who gives you your partner. So SubhanAllah, it's part of your rizq in this dunya.
Tell us a little bit about, you've then chosen to go on the app, right? So why the app first?
Look, honestly, there wasn't strategic thinking. I didn't have any strategic thinking. So it's basically, in my head, it's like a mush. I was trying my best, doing whatever I knew. So I was like, all right, if I couldn't find my wife in the traditional way, I might as well try to use the uncommon ways. So I've tried many apps, actually. There is some potential apps in the Arab world, but I don't think they are.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah. And when I started using Muz, I thought that, yeah, I can give this a try. And alhamdulillah, it was successful.
Alhamdulillah. It was, alhamdulillah, we're a success story, right? Alhamdulillah. So tell us about then your journey on the actual app. So how long were you on the app for? What was your experience actually talking on the app to potentials?
So it was on and off. You know, I used to download the app and then get frustrated, and I would think that, this is not going to get me anywhere. And I would delete it. Then I'd be like, I'd download it again.
What were some of the frustrations? You mentioned that you would delete the app at times. What were some of the frustrations that would lead you to delete the app and say, I just need to give myself a break right now?
It could be a couple of reasons. First is patience. Anything in life, we should have that patience in us. And because we live in a very fast world, we are seeking instant
answers
and things. I could say the first reason is I didn't have the patience, right? Second of all is sometimes on the app you would find people that are not ready for commitment.
Yeah.
That could get frustrating. Yeah.
Especially if you're ready to commit and ready to move forward, to receive somebody else that's not ready to commit, it can lead you to be frustrated and lose hope a little bit. Like,
like, why are you on this app in the first place? Like,
why are you on this app, right? It's like, if you're on this app, take it seriously, because I'm here and I'm serious and I want to move forward.
Fully showing up, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how does somebody, say there is a Muslim man or a Muslim woman that's been single for a while, that's looking to get into a relationship and wants to come on the app, what would you tell them? How should they show up in the most optimal way? What would you tell them?
Look, honestly, when I found your profile and we matched, I believe I was 100% showing up as me. So showing up means that it's as if I'm actually meeting you and meeting your family in real life, and putting those borders in my mindset is like, if this is a person that I really want to get married to, what are the borders that I need to keep for us to start something really beautiful? And subhanallah, it all starts with the niyyah. So alhamdulillah, my niyyah was yeah, basically, I want to get married, right? And I believe Allah has helped me during that. Because when we started talking, when we matched and we talked, I was basically 100% me. And just to bring it to attention, when we unmatched,
Yes, we unmatched. We'll talk about that in a moment.
before actually unmatching, I told you, like, when we reached out to that decision, and I told you I was really feeling sad.
I remember, like, just to give you a little context. So we matched up. I would scroll through profiles really quickly, and I missed that actually Ahmad was living in the UAE, right? So anyway, we started talking. I was like, oh, he's really nice. Oh, he's like, I don't know. I just, how he said he was being him. I could feel like he was being him. He was asking really great questions. There was just a really nice conversation happening. Then I went back to look at his profile again, and then I saw that he was in the UAE. I was like, why do you live in the UAE? Then I started asking questions about where he's lived, where he's always lived here in the UAE, etc., etc. And then we had to have this discussion about, okay, I'm in Australia, he's in the UAE. Like, is he up for relocation? And he said no. And I said, are you up for relocation? And I said no. And then we said, well, it's best we unmatch. And I remember having so much respect for you for a number of reasons. And the first one is you expressed really how you felt. You're like, I'm feeling sad. You shared your emotion. I'm like, wow, this is what I'm looking for. Like someone that's emotionally intelligent, someone that has awareness about how they're feeling. I was like, wow, you don't see that often. And so I was like, yes. After all the coaching work I've done, this is someone that I want on my journey with me, someone that's just aware of what he's feeling. And then the second thing is that you respected so much what I had to say, my decision about, I want to unmatch with you because there's if there is no way that this is going to work, you respected, you didn't guilt trip me, you just respected what I had. And I was like, wow, like I felt so relieved in my body with you. Like it was just this feeling of safety with you. And I think for a woman, that's huge, that feeling of safety with a man that you're getting to know. I think you can't ignore that as a woman. If you're feeling unsafe in your body, you can't bypass that and say, I will feel safe one day. Your body, subhanAllah, has this internal knowledge. Your intuition is so powerful. So tell us a little bit about, I know you just shared it, but tell us a little bit about how first, when you came across my profile, what drew you to my profile, to match me up, etc.
I saw the way you described yourself, and later on I knew that this is the person that I was looking for. First of all, someone who's religious, someone who's really close to Deen, someone who's ambitious, someone who likes to grow. Your profile just popped in all of these qualities that I was looking for. Yeah.
I actually worked really hard on getting my profile. Like, I wanted my profile, like my profile was designed for a specific reason. Like the description I had was designed to filter in specific high value men. Like the way I wrote it, what I wrote and what I was seeking, it was so clear because I'm like, whoever wants to match with me, like, has read my profile and is clearly wanting to have more of a conversation with me. So it makes sense that my profile, what I wrote about my bio, drew me. And your bio, although it was simple, it was so beautiful. It showed me that you had a purpose in life. What's really important. It showed a little bit about your values in your description. So that's why I was like, you know what? It wasn't an overuse of humor, because some profiles had humor. Like it wasn't any of that. It was just simple to the point and just summarized.
Yeah.
About who you were and what you were looking for. That's why I was like, oh, yes, okay, I'm interested in speaking more to this man. So let's move on to the part where we unmatched. Tell us a little bit how you felt about that.
Yeah, as I was saying before, it was a sad moment when we both realized that, all right, if you're not willing to relocate and I wasn't willing to relocate, so we only have one choice, which is unmatching. Like, this is not going to be possible. SubhanAllah, part of me is like, no way you're going to let go of her, Like, I don't know, part of me is like, she's supposed to be your wife, and just let it go wasn't that easy. So yeah, I told you I was feeling really sad, and but alhamdulillah, we said that we're gonna, like, we did the right thing at that time, which is like, all right, we should, like,
Why would you talk if there's
yeah, there's
no...
no point of it.
Yeah.
So we did unmatch.
So a couple of days later, for those that had listened to the previous episodes, know that I was feeling really sad too. And then I went and I spoke to my dad, Baba Hani, I love you. And I told him, because he knew that I was on the apps and all of that. And I told him, hey, Baba, I'm in a really great man. And I like a lot of his qualities so far since we've been speaking. But there's only one problem. He's like, what? Like, he lives in Dubai. And then he's like, so what? You don't know where your nasib is. Why are you limiting yourself? If this is a good potential, explore it. For me, for those that know Baba Hadi, I did not expect those words to even come out of his mouth. It's like, praise Tikhara. And it's like, what I really respected about my dad in that conversation is that there was so much trust in me. He had so much trust in me that I knew what was right for me, and to praise Tikhara and give myself an option.
And subhanAllah, it shows the mindset of Ammo. His mindset is not limited. He's
Not at all.
He's open-minded, and it's really nice of him to be able to give you the trust to do that, and then to give you the support and love to tell you that, hey, it should not stop you. Like, if you really think that this is a great man, why not we explore it? And that shows a lot.
Does show a lot. So Baba Hani, we love you so much.
Yeah, we do.
And he sets the example for a lot of fathers. So if there is a father that's listening to this podcast, honestly, he sets a lot of the scene about trusting your daughter in the process. Like when I first told Baba about that I'm using the apps, there was so much trust in me that he knew that there was no worry, like there was no fear, like make sure you don't. There was no conversation about make sure you don't do anything haram, because my dad knew who I was and knew the values that I had, and he already knew the standards I had for myself. So that fear of me doing something haram or anything wasn't even needed to have. Like, he didn't need to have that conversation. He knew that I had standards of how I would show up with speaking to a potential spouse. And I think for fathers that are listening to this podcast, please take example from Baba Hani, because having that trust in your daughter that she knows what's best for her, and just giving her that support and that love just goes a long way, subhanAllah.
And I would love to add to that is the communication that you can build with your parents is really important and significant in such a step. And having that channel with your father it's basically facilitated our marriage, right?
Yes.
Because you had a great relationship with your father, and you are able to communicate what you're really going through with ease. And for him to also show that support and love is very important.
100%. I think that that's such a vital aspect in the process of getting married, is having this open channel of communication with your parents, because they are your biggest supporters in this process. And although they might have they grew up in a different country, or maybe they grew up in a different generation. That's exactly my dad. My dad grew up in a different country, different generation, but yet he could still be so supportive to me. And you might be listening to this podcast and think, well, I don't have the best relationship with my parents, blah, 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 blah. It starts with you. You have potential to make that relationship so much better. And it was through the world of coaching that I learned how to communicate so much better with my dad. Alhamdulillah, we've always had a great relationship, but I feel like through the world of coaching, my relationship with him became so much better, and I was able to have conversations that I previously wouldn't have, and I showed up differently in my relationship with my dad. So subhanAllah, so much had changed. So the relationship with your parents in this process is so vital, subhanAllah.
Definitely, coaching teaches you how to communicate better with people, and how to be yourself, and how to show up as yourself in front of people, which is really, really important.
And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people, how to show up as yourself, because like there's a part of us that wants to be liked and loved and you know, seen as attractive and all of that. And so we put on masks. Perfect, right? We put on masks and layers because there's a part of us that really doesn't want to show our, you know, all our bruises, all of the pain. But that's what makes a relationship really beautiful and intimate, is when you really do let someone in fully and show them who you are with all of your baggage, right?
That's scary.
It's so scary. It is. And in the process of us getting to know each other and all of that, that was a very scary process about really letting each other in and like showing the parts of ourselves that
are not perfect.
And still feeling that love, that you could still be loved. And that's what makes you who you are. So we rematched. What did you feel like when I rematched you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. It was unreal. It's like part of being in a movie. Like, I was like, why did you rematch? We like, I've been through so much, right? Like, I don't want to be rematched. I was already devastated. So, like, I was curious, like, what's up? What happened?
Yeah.
And the first minute we rematched, Hannah told me that, hey, I've spoke to my father and I've actually got a unexpected response from him. And he told me, yeah, why not? Pray istikhara and then we'll see how things happen. And that showed me, like, it gave me a really good pointers to who's raising Hannah. And I really liked that. It was really important.
Paula, you got a little window into who my family was without actually communicating with my family at that point. And then after that, we decided that we were going to not be on the app anymore and speak more exclusively. And then our fathers met. And I felt so happy seeing your dad. I don't know, there was a part, I don't know, your dad so much reminds me of my dad. They look like brothers, right?
SubhanAllah, they look like twins. They have the same eye. They have the same, I don't know, they have the same features, you could say.
Both white hair.
Yeah.
Both same height. Both are doctors. One is a veterinary doctor. One is a human doctor.
There is a lot of similarities, although they are from two different parts of the world. Yeah.
I just felt a lot of comfort meeting your dad. So we met through Zoom. And just meeting and then I met your mum and your sister. Just meeting your family as well just showed me how receptive they are to the idea of online too, considering that if your family comes from a very traditional part of the world with traditional, you know, way of doing things. So tell us a little bit about, you know, your parents, like when you told them about the app and that you met me. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Because I'm a guy and I went through a lot in my life, I didn't have that fear of saying that I've met a girl online and I would like you to meet her. Like, I didn't have the fear, though I didn't know what their response is gonna be. So I was like, when we rematched and we spoke and we said that, all right, if we're gonna do this, we need to include family. I was ready. I was like, all right, I'm going to have that conversation. And I told you I'm going to go down and I'm going to speak to my parents about it. And at the same time, I knew that my parents are not closed-minded.
Not at all.
So I knew that they want the best for me and they love me. So I told them, hey, I met a girl online and this is a little bit about her, which, and I want us to continue with this, and I want to include you in this process. And I told my Baba to, hey, I want you to meet her father, and we can start this online journey.
Yeah.
And they were accepting, alhamdulillah. I believe they were skeptical at first. Right now, thinking about it, they were skeptical and they weren't sure about what's happening until actually they met, like, my father met your father, and then my mom and sister met you, there were a lot of they were more of assured
Good. Yes.
that this is happening, and
that it's more real, and like that's so valid, right? Because this is such a new world, and like how
what
many
what do they know about that?
The
online application.
and who do they know that's gotten married on that? So
it's a very weird. I remember telling you. I told some of my friends, and they couldn't believe it, and it was such a weird idea for them that I'm actually marrying someone. Like, I'm actually looking to marry someone online from an app in this part of the world. So I definitely excuse my parents.
Yeah, of course. It makes total sense, because it's still a new concept. It's a new concept that's growing. So then we started our relationship online. So talk to us a little bit about the struggles, the joys of getting to know someone online.
Look, honestly, it wasn't the best thing, right? Because we both hated it. It's the long distance relationship, but we had to make it happen. So we had to meet over Zoom. We had to make it's hard. Why? Because a lot of that interaction, the time that you're meeting this special one, you need to interact outside in life, right? And we hadn't had that experience whatsoever, even after like
until October. So a couple of months into the relationship when we first met each other. I remember, like, when I first met you, and I'll come to that, I saw the back of your head. I'm like, wow, that's the back of his head. I've never seen the back of his head. Like, it's just something so that's how he walks. Wow. Like, I never, like, because we never appreciated that, because we didn't have that. It was all through talking. That's the only thing that we had was through talking. And while that was awesome, right, because we got to know each other in a lot of depth, and we got a chance to speak about a lot of different things, it was hard.
It was really hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
The time difference, the work schedules.
Honestly, but it showed us both that we really were committed to making it happen. Because, as you said, the time difference was a huge problem.
Yeah, it's like you either needed to wake up really early, or I needed to stay up a little bit later. It needed finesse. And I love what you said there. It really needed commitment. And that's what was so beautiful, is that I could see that you were committed to this relationship. You were committed to investing in this relationship. And that's what you need from a potential spouse, somebody that is willing to commit, and you're willing to commit. And it's shown through your actions, because
SubhanAllah, as you said, it must be shown through actions. Like, I believe I was the one who's suggested, after like we matched up. I told you, hey, if this is gonna happen, we need to include our parents.
Yeah.
And this is how we're gonna make things happen, right? Because like you have to make it through parents. They need to know that you're meeting this person, you're talking to them. And alhamdulillah, we tried our best to make it as halal as it could be, right? We were cautious about...
We had limits of what we would say. Yeah, there were boundaries.
Definitely. And for both of us, that shows that the effort and the commitment that we're putting into this, and how hard we're trying to make this happen.
And it also showed to me that you care about Deen, like you care about Allah, that you were cautious in what you would say to me, and what were conversations that were out of bounds at that time as we were getting to know each other. So that drew you to me even more, because it bumped up the level of respect that I had for you. So then we decided that it was time for us to meet. You applied for Australian visitor visa, and it did not happen. It didn't eventuate. And then we had a conversation like, okay, why don't you come to Dubai? So me, Baba, and Mustafa, my brother, picked up ourselves, and in October of 2022, so we matched in May 2022, And then in October 2022, after like 4 months of speaking, if my maths is correct, or 5 months of speaking, we came for the first time to visit. So I remember, I know I already shared this in the previous episodes. I was so shy.
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous. He came and picked us up at the airport with his dad, and I was hiding behind my brother. I was so shy. I was like, oh, what do I do? Do I look at you? Do I not?
And I had to make I knew that I had to give you the space for you to just settle down in your thoughts. You had a long trip. It's a 14 hours. It's hard. And yeah, alhamdulillah, like, I think I clicked immediately with Ammo and Mustafa.
Yeah, you did.
Your brother.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great visit.
It was a great visit. So tell us a little bit about, though, how did you feel the day that I was going to come, and the day you were going to see me?
Of course, I was excited. I couldn't wait for it. Like, imagine seeing a potential someone and just talking to them online for 5 months, and then finally you're gonna meet. Of course, I was excited. I was happy, nervous, of course, and yeah, I was looking forward to it. Definitely.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was nerve-wracking. It was all of those wonderful emotions put together. And then we were here for 8 days, and we got to meet your family. My auntie and my cousin came from Egypt to join us. We had a little celebration together. So yeah, okay, my question to you is, when you first met me, like for the first time in real person, what did that confirm for you? Or what did you realize through that experience?
SubhanAllah, when you meet someone, it is still different than the online word, because there is other senses that are included when you are meeting someone in real life, and you have different interactions. We went out. We used to go out.
We went to IMG World, which was with my dad and my brother. We went to like Dubai Mall. So Ahmad took us around to see different parts of the UAE here. So yeah, we had many different interactions.
So these interactions definitely, it made me sure that, yeah, this is the person that I really want to settle in down with.
Yeah.
And yeah, we took it from there.
Yeah, subhanAllah, that's the same thing for me. Like meeting you in person confirmed to me that, yeah, this is the man that I want to marry. This is the person that I want to continue my life with. Then I need to ask you about like a very important question, and that is the story of the jumper. So for those that don't know, in episode 3, I talked to you about my dua and how I up-leveled my dua. It wasn't just, Ya Allah, give me a husband. It was such a precise, beautiful dua that I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, where it was, Ya Jabbar, allow my husband to hold me on my wedding day as he whispers in my ear, I love you, Hannah. That was my dua. It gave me butterflies of excitement. Then I had the dua vision board, and on the dua vision board, it was this beautiful photo of like a couple. You couldn't see their heads. You could only just see their bodies. And she had her hand around him, and you can see her ring. He was wearing a grey jumper, and that was on my vision board. Then I went out and I actually bought that grey jumper before I even knew Ahmad, before I even started to get to know him. So I had a real life representation of what will happen. So I would hold, this is the jumper, by the way, you guys. This is the grey jumper the famous grey jumper that I would talk about. So I would actually hold this, and I would make dua. I would make dua while holding this, because I knew one day I was going to hug my husband in it. I knew that one day, whoever this jumper belongs to, like, it was just like, it used to give me goosebumps that there was going to be a man that was going to wear this. I had no idea who it is. So the biggest question that I always get asked is, number one, did this fit you?
Yeah, it fit perfectly. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It was like, I couldn't believe it, honestly. SubhanAllah. And yeah, I'm not wearing it because we live in a really hot country, and it's 47 degrees out there.
So yeah, it's way too hot to even wear it right now. So we have this jumper one of the questions that I got asked by one of the ladies that were listening to the podcast is, did you feel intimidated? Because I gave it to you and I told you the story behind it. Did you ever feel intimidated by the story of the dua or the story of the jumper? What were your sort of feelings when I shared to you the story about the jumper and how significant it was in my journey?
I don't believe I was intimidated. I believe I fell in love with the idea that you did all of that. I couldn't believe that this is happening. It almost, I'm telling you, I will always say this, it almost felt like it's part of a movie. Like, it was unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Basically because I believe in crazy things, that's why. And yeah, not at all intimidated. I felt like it showed me who you are and what you believe in, and again, the commitment that you put into this. And we spoke a lot about this and how you've changed personally in order for you to attract the type of a man that you were looking for.
100%. Yeah, because that was the journey for me. If you listen to the podcast, that was my journey, right? That I had to up-level myself, discover who I wanted to be in order to discover who I was looking for, and then attract the man that I was, the man in the grey jumper, right? So tell us a little bit about your journey with coaching. I know that in the last year and a half, you've gone on a big journey with the world of coaching yourself personally. So speak to us a little bit about your journey. What were you like before coaching, and how did coaching really transform your life?
In the world of coaching, you learn something very important, which is connecting with the real you. And what that means is basically we show up differently around different people around us, right? And as you said, we learn to put up masks around people. Yeah, once I've discovered the world of coaching, it was unbelievable for me. I always knew that I loved that. I've studied finance, sadly. I don't know why.
Sadly.
Yeah, I have no idea why I studied finance. I always knew that if I had a choice, I would study psychology, or something in that field.
So it's always been interesting to you to understand
Thinking, why people do certain things, and how do they think? Why do they think that? I had all these curiosity around that. So when I discovered coaching, it was an unbelievable world for me. I loved it. I jumped through everything that I would discover. It was like, I discovered this, and I've done that, and still, it's an ongoing journey. Honestly, it's a never-ending journey.
It is.
It's a never-ending journey. So the difference, as your question suggested, is I can finally talk like Ammar. And what I mean by that is I grew up around a lot of rights and wrongs, and you should do this and you should not do that, and you should, especially around people, strangers. We used to have a lot of rules, and
It was rigid.
it was very rigid, and what that created is like, hey, you cannot be yourself. You should show up in a box of rules, right? And that's very limiting, and it's sad, honestly. And what I've learned is like, hey, I can show up as me and still love how I'm showing up, rather than, if I do this, people might not like it, and I would not still get the love or acceptance.
And it's so interesting that you say that. Like, now that you've stepped out of these box of rules, you've actually had deeper connections with the people around you than previously. When you were in the box of rules, there was no deep connection. And so when you've actually stepped out, you've actually had a dramatic shift in your relationships with people. So speak to us a little bit about how your relationships have changed now as a result of coaching.
All right. So I remember last year, I was having this conversation with you, and about how I would love to upstep my relationship with my family, starting with my parents. Communicating how we felt, just saying I love you to my father or mother, I'd feel something weird is happening inside of me. Two, right now, just calling my mom and dad and just telling them how I feel and how much appreciation and love that I have towards them.
Yeah.
And acknowledging the efforts and all the time that they have put in raising us is unbelievable. The feeling that I've got, it's not about them, it's about me. And the ability for me to actually say what I really truly feel.
Yeah.
It's really important.
So beautiful. I've seen that journey that you went on, especially there was a lot of pain associated with your parents, a lot of hurt feelings, and just you processing. I think that's what coaching gave you, the space to just really process and really feel what you felt, and as a result, how that moved you from like this feeling of feeling frustration towards your parents to now love and gratitude. Speak to us a little bit about the...
Well, it's basically the journey of, it starts with awareness that, all right, first, how is my relationship with my parents were? Was it to the standard that I would want to have it? Do I need to do more? Do I want to connect to them more? How do I want to show up when I'm talking to them? It's all these questions, the awareness that I had. All right. And then I believe it's the healing, because in any relationship there is ups and downs, right? And without healing, the relationship would be a bit spiky.
100%.
So I've done a lot of healing, and that helped me to actually see and appreciate the effort that my parents have had to go and do to raise me and my siblings.
So beautiful. I love this journey for you, and it's just it humbles me to just be on the sidelines just watching your beautiful journey flourish. And the next question I have for you is, how has coaching helped you in our relationship?
Oof.
I love your reaction.
I've said this many times to you, right? I was modeling when I first met Hannah and we started talking. It's like I've met an alien for me.
Yes, I was an alien in many ways.
Someone who can like talk and express and know their feelings, what they are thinking about was something really. It's like an alien, honestly. Like I couldn't believe that you're real. So through our conversation, I believe I was modeling Hannah in the way she was showing it in the relationship, as well as bringing in my qualities, being myself, the commitment, and other things, and of course, learning how to communicate with other people helped us a lot. And knowing what I wanted.
Just your needs. Just to express, this is what I need.
I remember this is the first time that happened. Hannah told me about this weird thing. I couldn't believe it. She's like, it's really better if you understood yourself and what you needed, and then you expressed that need. For instance, I'm sharing something and I would love for you to just acknowledge and validate how I feel. And for me, that was like, no way. I used to think that, hey, if I'm gonna have a reaction, it needs to be original and from within me, right? I cannot make it or pretend or say it just because you asked me for it. And for me, that idea just, honestly, it takes the relationship to a whole new level.
Isn't it just so relieving that in a conversation you can ask for what you need? Like I just need you to just listen right now, or I just need a hug right now.
Because as men, we tend to just we are fixers. We try to find solutions. So whenever Hannah would come up to me with a problem or with a frustration or sadness, automatically the thing that I was trying to do is to fix your problems. Though Hannah would not, she's not talking to me because she needs someone to fix her problems. She's already an adult and she can fix her own problems. She needed someone to listen and to validate and to acknowledge how she was feeling and what she was going through. That's it. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, in what world I was living. I swear, it felt like I was living in a cave.
Well, welcome to the outside world, Habibi. Welcome to the outside beautiful world where the sun is out and you can ask for what you need. SubhanAllah. And I think that's why coaching is so vital in the aspect of relationships, understanding yourself, understanding the skills needed for a relationship. And we invested really heavily when we were getting to know each other in a lot of online marriage courses. And I think that helped. That I remember we would listen to 1 minute of the video and then we'd spend like 3 hours talking about just that 1 minute, right?
I don't think we ever finished.
No, we did. We finished a few.
Yeah, maybe one course.
Yeah, maybe one course. But we learned so much.
But that's what we did. Like, that's the important part of it. We, as she said, we would watch 1 minute and we're spending another hour just talking about that minute.
Yeah. I feel like that's just such a vital aspect because people go into marriage assuming that they know how to be in a relationship and they know the tools. But most people actually don't know. And that's why there's divorce rates. One of the reasons, obviously there are many reasons for divorce. One of the reasons is because people just don't know how to be in a relationship. People don't have the tools to be in a relationship. And so investing heavily into your relationship before you even move in together, I think is so vital. And then also upskilling yourself personally with your own awareness about coaching will really help you show up to be a better partner. So we actually have very, very exciting news that we've been working very hard behind the scenes. So we are really excited to, by the way, I just need to confirm. And so are you a coach now, Ahmad, now that you've done coaching yourself and you've gone on this journey and you still are on this journey? Are you a coach now officially?
Yes. Alhamdulillah, I've completed my training. I'm ready to take on clients. What I believe I'm specializing in helping Muslim men looking towards getting married and helping them through that time.
Yeah, because you've went through that journey. You, alhamdulillah, thrived in that journey, and you also know just how difficult that journey is. And just to go through it with somebody, imagine you just have someone in your pocket that can just talk to and just bounce ideas off and just express how you're feeling and just
they can validate and acknowledge how you feel and how hard it is to go through what you're going through.
And then upskill you with the necessary skills to make that relationship so much better. So yes, Ahmad is officially now a coach, which is super exciting.
It's her dua. That's what she made dua for.
Yeah, it's actually... Okay, I'm just going to share this now. In 2021, right? I met Ahmad in 2022. 2021, I remember making the dua. I'm like... This is when I first came across the world of coaching and I loved it. I'm like, Ya Allah, I would love, I would love to have somebody else that's a coach, that's a male, that's my husband, that's on the journey with me. And subhanAllah, that was my dua.
part of the bigger plan.
Part of the bigger plan. So having said that, we have decided to join forces, which is super exciting, and create something really beautiful, and that is called Muslim Love Coaches.
Muslim Love Coaches.
It's an organization that's designed to be all about love in all aspects. So love with God, love, finding love, sustaining love. So it's love in all aspects. So we're really excited to launch this, and what we're specializing and what we're focusing on is helping single Muslims that are out there that are yearning to get married. Maybe they've been trying to get married for a long time. Maybe they've been in and out of relationships. Maybe they've tried the app and they've deleted so many times. Maybe they just feel like there's no hope out there, no good guys out there. Or maybe they have a fear that they just need to settle. Maybe they have this fear that, oh my God, marriage is such a big decision, and they feel crippled by just the journey itself. So we have good news where we can live right in your pocket. We can be right there to support you. So we're very excited to be on this journey to support men and women in this journey of finding, inshallah, love and sustaining that love in a beautiful way. So, yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
After all the experience that you have in coaching, how would you describe what's coaching for a person who never heard or been in that realm?
This is how I describe it. Coaching is the journey of getting to know yourself on a deeper level. What I mean by that is why you do the things you do, why you believe the things you believe, and why you think the way you think. It provides you this space of exploring yourself. It gives you this space that's so safe, that's so non-judgment, just to discover who you are and what you really want in your life without the advice, right? Because sometimes we think, oh, when you go to a coach, you're going to get advice. Actually, that's the number one thing that we do not do. That's the last thing we do, is actually give advice. We actually empower you to find the decisions.
So let me interrupt you here.
Yes.
If you're actually not advising people, what are you actually doing?
Oh, great. I help people see what they don't see in themselves. So sometimes they have blind spots about what's actually holding them back. Maybe they're running a pattern of self-sabotage and they can't see it. Me, as their coach, I can help show their light about what's actually holding them back and what's actually moving them forward. Maybe they don't actually see that they're actually really talented, or maybe they don't actually see that they've got this beautiful quality. So coach helps shine light in a really beautiful way. It's not like, oh, astaghfirullah, blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. It's in such an empowering way that you get to discover it for yourself, rather than me just saying, hey, you get to discover that. And that's what's so exciting about the journey. So that's how I would describe it. And it's just somebody that validates you. Like, I think, and what I've seen is that a lot of people just don't know how to have a conversation. And so to be in a space with a coach that can just validate and actually hear the things that you don't even hear yourself say, someone that's so attentively listening to you, is just so powerful. Yeah, that's how I would describe it.
That was a great answer.
Thank you so much. So if you're a Muslim male listening to this right now and you're thinking, oh my God, I just want to work with Muslim love coaches. How do I work with Ammar? How do I go and work with you guys? Ammar, tell us a little bit about how a male can work with you at this present moment.
Definitely. So I'm very happy and excited to share with you this news. I'm offering the first 10 men who are clicking on the link below a free coaching session. Maybe you are going through, you are yearning to find your significant other. Maybe you are actually going on the journey of getting to know someone and you have some struggles around it. And maybe you are currently in a relationship and you are really finding it hard. So I'm very happy to serve you and support you through your journey. Just click on the below link, and I'm so excited to follow up with you.
Oh, what a amazing. So if I was a man and I was listening to this, I would click on that, because that's a hot offer. So beautiful.
So what about you, Hannah? What do you have to offer for the ladies?
Oh my God, it's just so exciting. There's just too many things. My head's going to explode with too many ideas. The first thing that I'd like to share with you is that I'm offering this beautiful live conversation. And I think live conversations are really powerful because we get to have this discussion together, because we're a sense of community. So come and join me for this webinar where I talk about the 3 steps to how to find your husband. Maybe you're a lady that's been in and out of relationships and you're just so over it. Maybe you've told yourself the lie, there are no good guys out there. Or maybe you're just so filled with so much hope that, please God, I want to find my husband, but you just don't know how. Well, come and join me, inshallah, for this wonderful live webinar where we discuss finding your husband, inshallah, practically to end together.
Thank you very much for this awesome opportunity.
Alhamdulillah.
It was a great first. It was the last and the first. The last, as in it's the last episode of your series, and the first video podcast.
Us together, because I feel like we still have so much to discuss. We didn't discuss them getting married, me coming and moving here, our first year of marriage. We still got a lot to discuss.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of things to share.
a lot of things to share. Inshallah, coming soon, there will be more episodes with me and Ammar.
You need to tell us about what would you like to know more.
Yes, please tell us.
What are the things that you would like us to share and
What
talk
is your
about?
burning questions? Tell us, because there are so many. I know me and Ahmad discussed so many ideas for podcast episodes. So we're very excited to serve you, because this is what it's all about. It's not just about us thinking what's important. We want to serve you. So if you have any burning questions or anything that you really want us to touch upon, we would love to do that in a future episode. Please go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Like and subscribe, and just tell all your friends about this, because this is something that I realized when I was in the process. There's not enough of this
Support and
conversation.
help, especially for the Muslim world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is the conversations a lot of conversations I find are about, okay, you're married now. It's a lot. There's a lot of marriage courses. There's a lot of, okay, now you're married. There's not enough support about pre-marriage, right? And it's a big struggle for a lot of Muslims.
It's a scary journey.
It's a scary journey. So why do you have to go through it by yourself? So please, if you have a male or a female in your life that is been wanting to get married for a long time, or is yearning to get married, please send them this podcast to listen to. We want to reach.
They will get a lot of help.
Inshallah. So please, we want to reach as many single Muslims as possible, and we need your help with that. So go ahead and share this, if inshallah that you found benefit. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time.